All right, Wayne Allyn with my buddy Peter Navarro. We love this guy. My wife Cindy and I had a chance to. Cindy had never met him. We met him at Lee Lipton's ceremony to be the new ambassador to the Philippines at State Department in Washington, D.C. And we're just big fans of yours, Peter. Appreciate everything you've done for the United States, for President Trump, for MAGA, all the above. You're a great man. You're senior counselor to the president for trade and manufacturing and author of the new book, Why Fauci Must Rot in Prison. You know what's funny, Peter? I just finished an interview. I was being interviewed by another TV show about my views on Fauci. And I said he's a mass murderer. He's committed crimes against humanity. There ought to be a new Nuremberg trial, and he should be tried for mass murder. And I'm all for great legal team, judge, jury of your peers, no mob justice, nothing like that. I'm not recommending anything bad ever happened to him outside of a jury. That's what America's about. But if they find him guilty, this guy deserves the death penalty for mass murder, for the crimes he committed.
So you've come to the right place, Wayne Allyn. This book basically is the prosecution of Anthony Stephen Fauci. I lay out the whole case. There's this question of he's got a presidential pardon, so he couldn't possibly be put in prison. I've got a way to do it. And I go through every single crime that he did. And I'm the one guy who's got the bona fides, Wayne Allyn. I don't know if you know this, but I was the only guy in the West Wing, besides the president, who consistently got in Tony Fauci's face every time he was wrong. And he happened to be wrong every time.
Every time.
And it started with the China travel ban. I'd never met the guy, right? Never met him before. President calls me up the night before. I've got to go to the Situation Room. He says, hey, we got to stop these people coming in on our planes from China. We need a travel ban. Big meeting in the Situation Room tomorrow. Make sure it happens, right? Yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir. So I show up in this thing, and the Situation Room just... Yeah, I mean, it's a serious place. I mean, that's why they call it the Situation Room.
Right.
And there's a bunch of people sitting there, all serious people. A lot of them I knew were going to oppose the travel ban because they were globalists, this, that, and the other thing. And there's this guy sitting right across from me, who I'd never seen before, didn't know he walked on water, didn't know he was next coming to Jesus. And within about 2 minutes, I'm in a fight with that son of a bitch. And he's like a parrot, and all he's saying is travel bans don't work in his Brooklyn accent. And I'm going, what do you mean? It's like we got 20,000 people coming in a day. This virus is hot as a firecracker. They're burning bodies in Wuhan, and you want to let these people into our country? Are you out of your friggin' mind? And I took his measure that day, Wayne, and I knew right then that guy was arrogant. And because he was arrogant, he was a smart guy who was stupid, okay?
Right.
And that was the beginning of my fight. I won that one. But, boy, I had a hard time with the rest of them. I fought him on the lockdown. I fought him on masks. I actually
Social
helped
distancing?
What's that?
Social distancing?
Oh,
Another
my God.
thing.
It's like... I guess we do the lockdown, and look, at the beginning, 15 days to stop the spread. That was okay. We didn't know what we had. We didn't know what the R naught was. I don't know if you know what that was, but that's like the rate of infection. Like if I got COVID and how many other people will I infect? We didn't know that right then. Okay, so let's do 15 days where we kind of shut everything down for a little bit. But within the 15 days, we found out, well, this is not that infectious. It's not really hitting children much. It's like younger people can deal with it, and the ones who are really at risk are the comorbidities, this, that, and the other thing. And it didn't matter to Fauci. He was going to close all the schools, close all the businesses, lock everybody down.
And by the way, Peter,
I'm an economist. What's that?
By the way, it wasn't even as deadly as advertised. Not even close. I know you didn't know that at the time. But the reality was, if you died in a car accident or a motorcycle accident, or you got murdered, or you committed suicide, or you died of a drug overdose, they called it COVID.
Wayne, we lost 1 million people. Okay, but
they said we lost 1 million people.
Most of those people were people with comorbidities. They were older people with, you get it with diabetes or you're obese. Right. Hey, that's going to kick the crap out of you, okay?
Right.
You got to, but then you're like 20 years old. You're like a college athlete, right?
Right.
And what does Fauci want to do? He wants to give you the friggin' vaccine. Next thing you know, your heart's enlarged, you got myocarditis. My point is that this guy, Wayne, and I show this, and what's the beauty of this, okay? I'm burying the lead here. This is a tale of two diaries. Right? I have my own diary, which I did during the pandemic that shows how actively I was involved. I mean, I was the guy, I don't know if you know this, but I was the guy in charge of getting the ventilators and the masks and the PPE and all of that stuff. That was the Defense Production Act policy coordinator.
And Peter, so my understanding is you're the guy who was ready to distribute the thing that would have stopped COVID in its tracks and the deaths would have dropped to nothing, hydroxychloroquine, and Fauci wouldn't let you do it. Yes.
This is a drug. Here's the thing. It's like, what makes this book, Why Fauci Must Rot in Prison, by the way, go get on Amazon and get this right now. I'm going to keep saying that because we got to get this out. But what makes this book so interesting, Wayne, is he's got his diary, 1,100 pages, right? I got my diary. My diary's public. It's published, right? His was private. And what I show in this book, Why Fauci Must Rot in Prison, was he was telling people things in public and writing the opposite in private.
Right.
I mean, think about that.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
In private, he was saying hydroxychloroquine was a safe drug. It's okay to do it. And then when the politics changed, he was the guy. Wayne, I had 10 million of these pills. Okay?
Ready to go.
We know they work in the first 7 days. Right. To reduce mortality and reduce severity of symptoms. If I had been allowed to distribute those pills, there would be tens of thousands of Americans alive today. And that alone is why Fauci must rot in prison. Okay?
Well, and don't forget,
he's the guy working with the FDA who stopped it. I mean, that stuff works. And we've been using it for 70 years for lupus patients, for malaria, and for rheumatoid arthritis. It's safer than any of that you see on TV every night that Big Pharma, you know how that, they go, they show all these wonderful pictures and then they got 12 things that can kill you, right?
Right.
It's safer than any all that. And Fauci wouldn't let you have that.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe 150,000 Americans die each year from prescription drugs. Not from drugs, from prescription drugs prescribed by their doctors.
That's dangerous.
So they're all dangerous. And by the way,
constipation, suicidal thoughts, kidney disease. You might go blind in one eye or both. I mean, give me some of that. That's like running a joke with my wife, Bonnie. Like we're sitting on the couch watching a show. Big Pharma comes on. It's like, hey, give me some of that. No.
Well, did you notice, though?
He was safe.
Peter, did you notice, though, that every drug ad on TV has 1,000 side effects that, I guess by law, they have to mention? But not one side effect was ever mentioned in the ads on TV for the COVID vaccine. I watched hundreds of ads for the COVID vaccine, and they never were forced to list one side effect. If they had, they would have said, the COVID vaccine is great. Go get the COVID vaccine. But it could cause myocarditis, could cause heart attack, could cause cardiac events, could cause blood clots, could cause strokes, could cause turbo cancer, could cause neurological problems. They never said that. Why? When every other ad demands you say it.
Yeah. And this is why Fauci must rot in prison. I mean, I fought him on everything, Wayne. I fought him on the vaccine, the boosters, the masks, the lockdowns, hydroxy, the China travel ban. The guy's but his private diary exposes him. Here's the thing. Here's the ultimate thing, okay? He's the godfather of the pandemic, in my judgment. And here's why. It's like, I got it April 2020, okay? I got on Fox News with Maria Bartiromo and said, hey, that virus is from the Wuhan lab, hands down. It's not from nature. It's from the Wuhan lab, right? And if I know then what I know now, which is the following, Fauci, as head of that bureaucracy, which is the biggest funder of research in the world, funded this gain-of-function research, which is able to take a harmless bat virus and turn it into a heat-seeking, deadly weapon to kill humans, okay? Fauci funded that research at the Wuhan lab, right? Why did he want to do that? It was like this Dr. Frankenstein vision. Oh, let's make a deadly virus which might someday appear in nature so that we can make a vaccine now in case it appears in nature. And, it'll never leak out of the lab, so we don't have to worry about that. That's how this happened.
So let me ask you a question.
American taxpayer money paid for it. Fauci directed it, and it was a way around like more stringent regulations of labs here in America. I mean, this guy, and when he found out, he was told, Wayne, I don't know if you've seen the diary stuff. It's all in Why Fauci Must Rot in Prison. He knew in January, he sat around a table with 12 scientists on a Zoom, and they're saying, "Hey, that thing's from a lab. It's not from nature, Tony." Right?
Because it was his lab.
What did he do?
It was his lab. That's why he didn't want anyone to know.
Yeah, exactly. So what does he do? He takes some of them aside, I guess, and says, "Hey, write this proximal origin paper and put it in the most prestigious journal in the world that says the virus is from nature." I mean, that's what it looks like. That's what happened. So,
Peter, can you imagine? Can you imagine if the left knew that any CEO in America, especially a Republican CEO, especially a white Republican CEO who supports President Trump, had a product that was killing people, and he told everyone, even though private emails showed he knew the things he was saying were wrong, and yet he urged everyone to buy his product, and then he covered everything up. Now, wouldn't the left burn his building down and a mob would take him out and kill him? I don't want any of that to happen, but I'm just saying, isn't that what the crazy Antifa left would do if a white Republican Trump-supporting CEO who was greedy for the sake of greed killed people and then told everyone, keep taking it to kill more, and then covered it all up? He wouldn't have a chance to survive. Yet the left defends Fauci like he's the greatest man that ever lived.
This is why Fauci Must Rot in Prison, the book, it has to be read, because I believe that any sensible American, I don't care what political party they are, if they read this book, they're not going to love Fauci. They're going to want him in prison. This is crazy stuff. This man is evil on so many different ways. He created so much different misery in so many ways. I mean, he was like against masks, and then he was for one mask. For them. And then he was for 2 masks. And then the boosters, like, I don't know if you know this, but like the FDA advisory committee basically recommended, like, hey, give boosters to old folks who are like more vulnerable to this, but don't give it to younger people. And Fauci overrode that. And then you get these people like these poor, young men, young, virile, vibrant men wind up with hearts that like are going to like kill them essentially for the rest of their lives. It's
for the rest of their lives.
Like, how does he do this? It's in his diary. He's like saying like, okay, we don't, there's risk there, but he goes for one size fits all over and over and over.
And you know what? You know what we haven't even stressed yet, because there's 2 other horrible things we haven't stressed. Number one, not only did he stop ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, which would have worked, thereby killing lots of people and thereby allowing the emergency authorization for a vaccine that killed many, many people. I think millions, but let's not get into that. Let's say it killed a lot of people. But he also urged the main treatment for COVID once you got in the hospital was remdesivir. And the nurses across America have appeared on my show, Peter. I'm sure you know this, Peter. I'm sure you know that nurses say that they gave it a name. Run, death is near. Remdesivir is such a deadly drug that you say, run, death is near.
Yeah. How about this? Okay, let's not forget Paxlovid. You remember this stuff?
Yes.
Paxlovid was what the Pfizer drug. Now think about this. It cost I don't know, I think it was 13 cents to manufacture, and they charged $1,300 per pill for this thing.
Wow.
And you take it.
And it didn't work.
Okay. Yeah, well, no, it was worse than that. You take it, and for some people, it worked. Okay, you felt a little better. But for a lot of people, you take it, and the symptoms reside, and then you'd have the Paxlovid rebound. Do you remember this?
Yes.
The symptoms would come roaring back and kick you right on your ass.
You didn't need it for a few cents. You could have taken ivermectin.
Hydroxychloroquine would have been fine, and instead they come up with a pill that costs 3,000 times more than hydroxychloroquine. I mean, I had millions of these things. They're like pennies. Paxlovid it was like, Tony, what the? And he got it. He actually took the Paxlovid, got the rebound, and then wouldn't even admit that he got the rebound. Yeah, his lung almost collapsed.
And he also had a blood clot in his lung that clearly came from the COVID vaccine and covered it up and wouldn't let anyone know because they would have blamed the COVID vaccine and he didn't want anyone to blame. This was all greed.
Don't you
think? Let me sum it up. We got to run.
Yeah.
I know you got to run, but let me sum up something. I assume you agree with me. I've never been one of these people that said this was about population control. They set out to murder millions of people. I've only said it's about greed. Every step of the way they wanted to make money, and then once they got in trouble, they had no choice but to cover up, or they would be called mass murderers, and they'd have to stop the vaccine, and everyone would want to put them on trial. Yeah. So they've covered up all of it. It's all about greed. I don't think they ever set out to murder, 20% of the world's population, but I do think they set out to make a lot of money, and then they covered up any negative that happened along the way.
What's so unique about this, Wayne, is that Fauci himself, who became the most trusted man in the pandemic, actually, in all likelihood, created the pandemic. And what everything followed from that fact in terms of what he did, it was all about a big cover-up, because that came from the lab. It was engineered. And by the way, the next time we do this, we'll talk about the fact that lab was a dual-use lab, and the Chinese military were in the basement, and who knows whether that thing leaked or was accidentally released. Stay tuned on the great Wayne Allyn Root Show. Buy Why Fauci Must Rot in Prison. Please go to Amazon now. Drive that thing to #1, and we're going to put him in prison if we do that.
So I want to get you back on the show. I know we're saying goodbye. I know you got to run. I know you got another interview. And we want this part 2 about Fauci. But I want a part 3, too. I got to get you back on, Peter, with part 3. And part 3 is the economy. Trump's done a great job, and the media's blacked it out like they blacked out the COVID vaccine deaths and the Fauci problems. The economy's booming for every company on Wall Street, and yet people don't know this. American business is kicking ass, and no one knows it. So we'll come back for another interview. I got to get you back.
We got a return engagement. Mark,
you go.
By the way, mark October 13th on your calendar. I'm going to try to get this network, Real America's Voice, to do an all-day show where we get folks like you and like Dr. Robert Malone and Harvey Reich and Stephen Hatfield and all the people who were fighting Fauci through that whole time to relive those experiences. On the day this book is officially released. Buy it now in pre-release. Let's get it up to #1, and you're the best, brother. You take care.
Peter, the book's name, again, Why Fauci Must Rot in Prison, by Peter Navarro, who's a brilliant economic guy and has really segued into now being the guy that lays out the case. He's like a medical expert combined with a prosecutor laying out the case against Dr. Fauci. Thank you, Peter. God bless.